speak to this situation here. And what I see, in fact, my good friend Gene and I had a wonderful conversation today looking at a piece. We are trying to reflect this back into the artwork. Like we somehow feel that our obligation here is to speak this other voice. And I think that's a mistake. I think one of the problems we've had is we've been trying for 250 years to speak someone else's voice. I think that's the thing to avoid. The playfulness is not how much fun it is to rip off somebody else's iconography or ideas, or economies, let me say. Because if you go to many indigenous communities, art is the new economy because, you know, dear Lord, the fish are gone, the trees are gone, right? The commodification of all our foods, and we're just like any other community now where the food's being shipped in from California, something like that. Many of the basic elements of our community are not as robust as they want to be. But art is a way for people to make money. So should we be trying to encourage our students to do this? I don't think so. We're not there yet. I don't think we can do that. I think we should stay away from that. I think the playfulness needs to be found in this space in between here. And it's a space that's filled with humanity. It's a space filled with joy because it's a space filled with emotion, and it's a space not filled with guilt. Because like I said earlier, we spend all those energies and put ourselves on the line not to get revenge and not to seek retribution, but to try to find a better way to relate with Canada. When Canada came and said, we're going to give you little brown people, well, they were going to give it to anybody who would take it. Money, I think it was $27 or $28 million. You may have seen this on the TEDx talk that I gave, but it's an important point. They were offering to buy us out if we just take the money and then the government could feel that they stopped the blockades and everybody got paid off and it was all fine and dandy. We could have settled for that. I know we could have, because I was in a negotiating team. I know we could have got $30 million out of Canada for that. Instead, what we did is we filled up the space in between us, Haida, and Canadians, small, not privileged Canadians, blue-collar workers when they couldn't get to work, small little town, probably not really well-educated people, maybe high school. And we said, how about we take all the money and we'll put it in the middle of the room and we'll all share it. And they said, okay, got our interest. And we said, the caveat is, everybody in the room has to agree with how the money is spent. Everybody. There's no, I got more votes than you, Fred. It's everybody. It's consensus. Now that's a joyful feeling if somebody says, you want to help me spend $30 million? Right? And so that's how we did it. So instead of this antagonistic relationship between people who are going to lose their jobs, the logging companies, or Haidas who were so scared of what was happening to the landscape had to move into action, we tried to find an emotional way to bind and pull together. So, I don't know if this is joyful, but I would think that the question for you as educators in your classroom is not to describe the other, but to describe the quality of the relationship between this country and these people. And I think I said some things a little bit earlier. I think we need to bear in mind the Constitution. And you might say, well, Constitution is law. But I say, well, art is about how we interpret everything. It's not about what we draw and sign and date and put in the gallery. Art is a lens for us to look at everything. And it's a way for us to look at the legal and political relationships as much as it is anything else. So I would think that that's kind of the narrative that we need to explore, is the relationship, and we do it from a place of privilege and power because it's our law, it's our Constitution, it's our municipal, provincial, and federal government that's in charge of how they interpret and apply the Constitution. And as our community, I think we are duty bound to find a way to incorporate this into the relationship, the honor and the respect that is locked away in a box called the Constitution because it's not being applied. What does it mean? It means big things. it actually does mean that legislation that is inconsistent with the Constitution is actually illegal. Because the Constitution trumps everything. The question then becomes for us all, well, one way we can make this all easy is we can change the Constitution and say, well, you know, we beat the Indians, so that's it, puppy, it's over. We can make that a Constitution. We can make that a law. It would actually be more honest than the one we have right now. But I think it would be, you know, morally vacuous for us to do that, and I don't think anyone seriously, except maybe all those Tea Party disgruntled Republicans are interested in. We're not interested in Canadians as doing this. So this isn't really getting to the joyful part, perhaps, but I think I'm talking about the quality of the emotion that we put into the relationship, and it calls on us to be respectful and honorable. In terms of the joyfulness, remember that first picture where we saw those three Tlingit guys and they just kind of, you know, they got the gear. And that robe is probably worth about $240,000 US right now. Right? Just to get a sense. I mean, that's the stuff. And they look so very authentic, right? They don't look happy. You look at the other picture of Nani, Norma, and my mother Babs. They're just goofing it up. They're having a good time because they're human people. And so I think the really important thing that's got to be engaged in finding a way to joy is to recognize the humanity that we all share. And relax a little bit. How can you relax if you're trying to do this? I don't think you can. If you're trying to go out there and, you know, carve a little thing or paint a little thing, you know, and make it look Indian enough, and, you know, this just, you know, it's just plain wrong. It just doesn't work, right? So, anyways, I don't know if that's helpful, but I think that's about all I'm going to do with that question.